An undersea volcano erupted in spectacular fashion on Saturday near the Pacific nation of Tonga, sending tsunami waves crashing across the shore and people rushing to higher ground. Tsunami advisories were issued for other Pacific islands, the Australian east coast, Hawaii, Alaska and the US Pacific coast. The Fiji-based island's business news site reported that a convoy of police and military troops evacuated King Tupou VI from his palace near the shore. He was among the many residents who headed for higher ground. On Tonga, home to about 105,000 people, video posted to social media showed large waves washing ashore in coastal areas, swirling around homes, a church and other buildings. Satellite images showed a huge eruption, with a plume of ash, steam and gas rising like a mushroom above the blue Pacific waters. Authorities in the nearby island nations of Fiji and Samoa also issued warnings, telling people to avoid the shoreline due to strong currents and dangerous waves. In New Zealand, officials warned of possible storm surges from the eruption. Earlier, the Matangi Tonga news site reported that scientists observed massive explosions, thunder and lightning near the volcano after it started erupting early on Friday. Satellite images showed a 5 km wide plume rising into the air to about 20 km. The Hunga Tonga Hunga Hapai volcano is about 64 km north of the capital, Nuku'alofa. In late 2014 and early 2015, a series of eruptions in the area created a small new island and disrupted international air travel to the Pacific archipelago for several days. The Tonga Meteorological Services said a tsunami warning was declared for all of the archipelago, and data from the Pacific Tsunami Center said waves of 80 centimeters, 2.7 feet, were detected. The explosion of the Hunga Tonga Hunga Hapai volcano was the latest in a series of dramatic eruptions. Earth imaging company Planet Labs (PBC) had watched the island in recent days after a new volcanic vent there began erupting in late December. Satellite images captured by the company show how drastically the volcano had shaped the area, creating a growing island off Tonga. Following Saturday's eruption, residents in Hawaii, Alaska and along the U.S. Pacific coast were advised to move away from the coastline to higher ground and to pay attention to specific instructions from their local emergency management officials, said Dave Snyder, Tsunami Warning Coordinator for the National Tsunami Warning Center in Palmer, Alaska. Australia's Bureau of Meteorology issued an evacuation order for Lord Howe Island, 780 kilometers northeast of Sydney, and warnings for a huge stretch of the mainland's east coast. Sydney's Bondi Beach was evacuated overnight, and a marine threat warning remained in place on Sunday morning Australian time. The Bureau of Meteorology said a tsunami wave height of 1.27 meters was observed on Norfolk Island, 900 kilometers from Lord Howe Island, at 9 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time, and an 82 centimeters wave was registered on Queensland's Gold Coast at 10:54 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time on Saturday. It said 1.10 meters high waves were recorded at Ned's Beach on Lord Howe Island about 11 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time, and a 50 centimeters surge was observed at Hobart's Derwent Park about 11:44 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. Smaller waves were recorded in Hawaii, Alaska and California. Beaches and piers were closed across Southern California as a precaution. The National Weather Service tweeted there were no significant concerns about inundation. Strong rip currents were possible, however, and officials warned people to stay out of the water.